Hey, everybody, get ready. Fasten your seatbelts. My guest star is the fabulous, incredible, unbelievable Ann Walker.
Now shut up. The show's starting.
That a second time. Hi, everybody. This is Michael. I hope you can hear me. I was having some audio problems, but everyone's upset. I'm upset. And yesterday I happened to call this beautiful, lovely lady, this incredible award-winning actress, and I knew that she was fuming. The vibrations from the Valley in California vibrated all the way here to Las Vegas. And I called Ann Walker, and I felt the steam coming out of the phone. Put your hands together and welcome my special guest, the fabulous Ann Walker. Hey,
Woo! Hi, everybody.
Okay,
I'm still steaming, honey. I'm still steaming.
Hey, everybody. Can you hear us? That's the one thing. Oh, people are coming in. Nikki, can you hear me? Can you hear Ann? I was having audio issues, so that would help me a lot. But anyway, okay, there's Nikki, Ninny Pooh the Flabbergasted. We get some wild names. Yep, they're people are coming in now. Here they come. So hopefully there's that 10 seconds delay. Hi, Ninny Pooh the Flabbergasted. Can you hear us? Can you hear me? Can you hear Ann? Ann,
Hi
say
there. Hi.
Tammy, with some, obviously they don't hear me or they're not answering, because I would be very upset if that's it. Usually they write back. So
now, where do I look? That must be on Facebook that you're seeing.
No, there's the comment section. You know the comment section?
The chat room.
Yeah. Oh, they hear us both loud and clear. Thank you.
Okay, good.
Gotcha.
Good.
Awesome. All right, everybody. Corby Metled is in. Corby is one of the top psychic mediums. She's listening in. I need to hook you guys up. You guys would love each other so much. But I'm glad. Everybody, my guest is this incredible woman who is a good friend of mine. You look ravishing, by the way. Absolutely ravishing. Of course, yesterday when I called her, she goes, "We're not going on video." I said, "Well, I wasn't planning on it because we don't as performers, we don't go on video unless we're got good lighting and we look a little
a little makeup. You should have seen my hair. My hair was like sticking out, and I had no makeup on.
Right?
I was shocked when I first saw your name and the FaceTime. I went, oh no.
Now you have to understand, Ann, do you remember that one time I was sitting on my couch? It must have been right around Christmas time or something, and you called me, and you hadn't done your hair, you hadn't done your makeup, and I was sitting on the couch looking like God's whatever. It was scary.
That's how good of friends we are. We could have done it yesterday, but I was so bad looking.
And you were mad. And you were mad.
And yeah.
And you were mad. Now,
but
people,
how nice of you to invite me to your show today.
Well, I just knew you would be somebody that would want to share your thoughts, and then also to let everybody know, for people that are tuning in, we're on different platforms today. So we're on the Paul Lynde page because of the Paul Lynde. We're on Ester's different pages, and we're on YouTube. So as you come in, understand, what's going on, because sometimes they expect Paul Lynde, they expect Esther. So just letting them know, today it's Michael in the afternoon in the middle of on hump day, and my guest is Ann. Ann, as a woman, which is one of the reasons why I wanted your perspective on everything. But as a woman, hey Gwen, as a woman, and this went down. I mean, we all knew that they were going to have this whole vote on Roe versus Wade. They've been working 50 years, those idiots, to overturn it.
Yeah.
And this whole thing with the leak, you were telling me they're trying to blame the new
yes, Ketanji Jackson. Is that her name?
Ketanji Jackson.
Yeah. They're trying to blame her for the leak.
Are you serious?
Yes, she doesn't even take her office until like June, you said.
And she's probably
So-
doesn't. Oh,
Yeah, and she's not anywhere near those people.
no.
I mean, how could she even get that?
Oh, gosh.
Previous, I mean, somebody with a grain of
Common sense,
what it does
right?
when they take that away.
Mhm.
Some wonderful either Republican or Democrat, just
Right.
a person who's around there. To send that to Politico was a brave thing, because they can get into so much trouble.
Oh
And
my
they're
gosh.
trying to find out who did it. So
Well, I have a video that I'll put up in a little. Look at that. Ninny Pooh the Flabbergast is literally watching the documentary, aka Jane Roe.
yeah,
And
good.
Dale is in Mexico. He's watching from Mexico.
Hi, Dale.
And then there's another Dale who says, "Hi, beautiful people." Gwen Shibley, who I'm going to be having dinner with later tonight. Sherry Salazar. We have people from all over.
We do. It's great.
From all over the world that will be checking in.
Good.
Now, when I was watching Rachel Maddow when it went, were you watching Rachel Maddow when it happened?
Yes.
So we all got it at the exact same time. It was sort of like
Yes.
the shot heard all across the United States.
Well, it came in sort of in the heels of Chris, what's his name? Right before
Yeah.
Maddow. But then they picked it up, and they were just, everybody is in shock. We're in shock. But actually, we're not in shock so much as we knew it was coming, because they've been waiting for, like what you said, 50 years to pull this on us.
Mhm.
And now we have to go back to the drawing board, and we have to figure out what options are left for us.
Right.
With a Senate that has no filibuster. I mean, that's just ridiculous.
Mansion and cinema, right?
Yeah, but I think even I read something that Cinema said yesterday.
Oh no, what did she say?
She was like up in arms that this is going to happen, and so I think.
Oh, she was.
Yes, she was. I hadn't heard anything that Manchin said, but yeah, she is. So I know that there are people, even Republicans in the Senate, that will stand by this vote if we get it to vote. I know that
It's
called
the codify. Codify it with that. The House has already passed it.
Yeah.
It's the Senate. It's the Senate. We could get it if we didn't have the filibuster.
Yeah.
And that's what drives me. I guess that's what drives me up the wall the most.
Right.
Is that we have the ability to make so many great things happen. And one man, Manchin, who claims to be a Democrat in the poorest or the second poorest state in the country.
And he's the richest son of a bitch from
ever.
coal money, in Virginia.
Right. And you're just like, what? Oh, is he West Virginia? Oh, he's West Virginia. West Virginia. I was thinking of Turtleneck, McConnell. And I just look at them and I just want to scream. But here's the thing, and I'm going to put the video up. This is the thing that got people, that had us with a little bit of hope before this thing came out. Now, remind you, this leak was a document that was in February. It was the first draft written by Alito. And everybody had thought that if they were going to do this, if they were going to have a draft, they figured Barrett was going to be the one on the Republican side to write the opinion. And they gave it to old fart Alito.
Don't all of them get to write something?
They do, but there's the opinion. There's the final that will happen, and that is written by, like Sotomayor will write one, and it's like
that's a dissenting.
The dissentings, if they're against it, hopefully, who knows what's going to happen, but I do know that was written in February, and that's why John Roberts' sphincter was squeaking all the way across the country, because he really doesn't want to overturn Roe versus Wade. He wants to possibly.
So why did he vote? Why did he vote with them?
Was that what it was? I thought he was. I thought it was
supposedly a swing voter,
right?
but then he ended up in in the mix somehow. I'm not
Right.
sure how that was.
But hold on, let me take this down here. Hold on, I didn't mean to have that name up there. Sorry, Sherry, I didn't mean to leave you up there. But I guess we all had hope because, as we all know, these Supreme Court justices, Barrett, Kavanaugh, and Gorsuch, were all, crammed through. Gorsuch, it should have been Obama's pick, but well, Mitch McConnell is not. No, we're not going to allow it to happen because they had a filibuster. Remember? Yeah. And they were able to stop it. But here's the video of what we thought was a little bit of hope here. Okay.
Of the Supreme Court. By it, I mean Roe v. Wade and Planned Parenthood. It is an important precedent of the Supreme Court. By it, I mean Roe v. Wade and Planned Parenthood versus Casey. Been reaffirmed many times. Casey is precedent on precedent, which itself is an important factor.
Senator, as the book explains, the Supreme Court of the United States has held in Roe versus Wade that a fetus is not a person for purposes of the 14th Amendment. And the book explains that.
Do you accept that?
That's the law of the land. I accept the law of the land, Senator, yes.
So the law of the land. And then
Liars. Audacity.
Hey, Angela, all the way from New Zealand. How are you? Then there was, I call her the Dodie Goodman of the Senate. The crazy bitch from Maine.
Yes.
God. And so, the whole thing was she voted for them both. And she is she's anti-abortion. She and Murkowski.
Yeah.
And then hold on. Here's some more stuff to watch. Here we go.
And it should be an example.
So you have obviously full confidence.
I do.
Oh, hold on.
Whoever committed.
Hold on 1 second.
Don't you think, just as an academic matter,
Here we go.
Neil Gorsuch, for whom you voted, don't you think he's
2018.
probably going to vote to overturn Roe versus Wade if given the chance?
I actually don't. I had a very long discussion with Justice Gorsuch in my office, and he pointed out to me that he is a co-author of a whole book on precedent. He noted that Roe had been reaffirmed 19 years later by Planned Parenthood versus Casey, and that it was precedent on precedent. He said it should be extremely rare that it be overturned, and it should be an example.
So you have obviously full confidence.
I do.
Whoever committed this lawless act knew exactly what it could bring about.
Whoever did this leak should be prosecuted and should go to jail for a very long time. This has shaken the independence and the ability of the judiciary to function.
I mean, I know. Don't get me started on Cruz. I mean, he's so great.
I know.
Do you realize they are shameless? They are shameless. Yeah. You're right.
Yeah, and they will spout off no matter just ridiculous things just to hear themselves speak and to see who they can get to believe them.
Right. And they did. And then there's McConnell. It's toxic. I've got to find out which one of them is screaming. It's probably that Perjury Taylor Greene.
Oh, God, there's another one.
And then last night in the elections, was it in Ohio?
Ohio,
where the Trump pick won.
Yeah.
Who is against everything? But
we have Tim Ryan, who is he had 70% approval there.
Really?
Really? Yes. Yeah. And this idiot, what's his name?
Right. Vance or something. Idiot Vance.
Yeah. J.D. Vance. Yeah.
Oh,
anyway, he's like 38%. So, and Tim Ryan is at 70. But right. I keep sending Tim Ryan money because he tells me every day, Ann, please give me $1. Give me $1. So I give him $1. No, give him a little more.
Now, what is this? Margaret Sanger inspired Adolf and started Planned Parenthood. Disgusting. What? I don't understand that one. Do you understand that one?
No.
Margaret
inspired Adolf and started Planned Parenthood.
I have no idea what that meant. I think, hey, Lynde Salvin, another incredible psychic medium, astrologer who was on the show. Lynde survived an airplane crash back in the 80s, got out, and that's when she found out she was able to see things. And she had a gift. She was on the show a couple weeks ago. But, you know, the thing is that, you know, they have, as someone said, they have no shame. They don't care. McConnell doesn't care.
No.
You know, and hold on. Somebody just wrote, Nini Poo wrote, what? Yes, she was into eugenics and Hitler, like the idea. So that started it all. I'm behind here. I'm trying to figure out. Is there a missing sentence I don't know about? Oh, I guess. Oh, she's against. Oh, so she's against abortions. Adolf, I guess. Well, Planned Parenthood does a lot of that. Oh, I see what they're saying. Okay, that's nice. That's nice. Crack shot. God bless.
23. Let me just read this little thing.
Go ahead.
23 states have some sort of abortion bans on the books.
Right.
Some bans predate the 73 Roe decision and have not been enforced. But once Roe is officially overturned, officials can start enforcing the ban or file court actions to reactivate the bans. Other states have trigger bans, meaning the bans will go into effect once the Supreme Court overturns Roe.
Right.
Now, our governor of California,
Right.
Newsom, he went on the news yesterday to say that we will codify, we will do something that will immediately keep us having open, Planned Parenthood open and being able to give women their health care for whatever the needs are, whatever they need.
Right.
So and there will be like 25 or 26 or 7 states who are not involved in this,
right,
and will just what's so terrible is the fact that these brown and black women who need all this help,
right,
and we have to figure out a way that they can have a fund where we can have them travel, whether we get a bunch of them together and take them on a bus, but then they're going to try to say that we're the ones that have allowed them to get an abortion, and so we'll probably get called up and sued.
Well, they put a map up yesterday. I was watching on MSNBC. Karnaki had the map up, and they were just showing about all the red states. It's all the red states that are against the abortion. The ones that have most of the, people screwing and whatever, and fathers
abortions. These are ones needing abortions.
But they were saying the ones that live like in Alabama, Florida, Texas,
Georgia, Texas.
It's hundreds and hundreds of miles for them to get to a state that does allow abortions.
Right.
And they've already seen the shit that's been stirred already just with this coming out. And so they know what to expect.
Well, I was so proud to see all those people, starting to come out and go and march yesterday. Over to city halls around the country. They were showing pictures of people who were already carrying the signs and marching, and I'm sure we'll have a big one out here.
Oh yeah,
I look forward to that.
Well, I was watching all of the marches all over the country yesterday, and they're still going today. Well, the other night when we all were watching Rachel Maddow, it was 9 o'clock there. By the time it had kicked up, by 11:30 midnight, there was crowds in front of the Supreme Court.
Right.
East Coast time. And I'm just like, whoa. Now, can you see any of these? Somebody just said, right, Pam, we cannot go back to the days of back alley abortions. And then Nini Poo the flabbergasted. What's fucked up is there's a lot of donations from white people to Planned Parenthood that they specify, I wanted to go to black abortions. What the actual fuck racism? I had no idea.
What does that mean? That they wanted it to go to help black women get abortions, right?
I guess I wanted to go to black. So there was no more black people. That's what they're doing.
I think though, but it just shows you that, white people, I just gave $25 to Planned Parenthood yesterday.
Right.
But I didn't specify that it should go for just Black women. I think
Right.
that it should go into a fund that eliminates any problem them getting it. And
But I
getting on the
see,
bus,
what he was saying. It's that these white people, hey, yeah, let all the Black people have abortions. Be that few Black people in the world. That's what he was saying that they were doing.
Oh.
The rednecks, the Trumpers. You don't want no people of color around us. I mean,
it's amazing, isn't it?
Hold on, let's see. I used Planned Parenthood when I lived in the city and went to college. They gave me regular gyno exam. It's total woman care, and they can help you with psychological as well. Yes. Yeah,
That's
true.
very true. I went with a friend of mine many years ago to Planned Parenthood to get her an abortion, and I won't go into all of it, but I was accompanying her, and she at the very last minute said, "I don't want to get an abortion. I don't want to do this," and I had to sit her. I had to explain to her that she'd already made this decision, and what her life would be like if she didn't go through with this. Because she's an actress. She it was just anyway.
Well, the bans, these bans, like yesterday.
She did do it.
Well, yesterday, the idiot governor from Oklahoma, they already had a ban, and then he signed papers yesterday for an even more strict ban. It's like they've gone crazy. Everybody that knows me and watches the shows knows I am not a religious person. I'm a spiritual person. I gave up on organized religion, whether it be Judaism, Christianity, Buddhism, Muslim. I'm sorry. At the end of the day, my feelings are we all worship to some supreme being up there. White people have decided that there's only one person to worship, and that's Jesus. And
Jesus was a Black man.
I know it, and they don't know that.
Yes.
Yes, Dale, we're going to get into that in a minute, because I know this is it's a subject that I'm on thoughts on banning same-sex marriage after this effort. Oh yeah.
Oh, speaking of which, that's just abortion is just the first thing on the agenda. Same-sex marriage and transgender. I mean, it's going to continue to grow.
Right. Let's see. Valiant Thor says, everyone likes to tell other people what they can and can't do, but nowhere to be found to deal with the consequences. Amen. You are so right. But I was watching one of the talking heads. I think it was on CNN, and they were saying, yes, they're going to go after that. They're going to go after, and this is what got me, is when they said interracial marriage. And I'm like, and what's Clarence Thomas going to do? Divorce that crazy bitch that he's
he's one that should never have been allowed to be on the damn Supreme Court. I know he was going after that lovely woman, Anita Hill. I know everything she said. I believed her 1,000%. And I know that Joe Biden was the head of that committee and should have had more deliberation and let
insight and facts.
Yeah.
But we lived in another place and time.
Exactly. Yes.
And let's see, what is this? I married an American Baptist church to my husband. I was married in an American Baptist church and blessed by God, so no government can take that away from me. And you know what? We get into what is called religious freedom, Mark. And that is, our country was founded on religious freedom, to be able to worship any way you want. And what's happened is the white evangelicals, which I was reading is only like 14% of the population of the United States.
Right.
And this 14% have somehow gotten control to make the decisions for the other 80 some odd percent of this country.
Right.
And you want to scream. We are a country with religious freedom, but they use the whole religion angle to fire up their base of crazies.
And we all know that they should have their exemptions taken away when they preach from the pulpit about politics.
by the way, I somebody just I had to put this up here, and I miss the time of your radio show. I still remember your interview with Carol Cook, such a delight from Chris. There you go.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, but yeah, they won't. I mean, I don't think they could. I'm going to say it's precedent. But how do you, they want to leave it up to the states is what they want. They want everything to become up to the states. So it might be legal to be like it was before marriage was legal between anybody. And before you could be legally married in California, but you couldn't be, it wasn't accepted in, Alabama.
Other states, yeah, right.
That's what they want to bring it back to. And it's scary.
Don't they realize that this has something to do? This will affect tourism in whatever state you're in. Well, if they decide, to say no, we're not going to allow you to. I was going to say something really nasty.
It's okay. You can say whatever you want.
Well, they've got the sodomy law in many states.
Right.
If you go there, you can't fulfill whatever you want to do sexually in your privacy of your own room.
There's no lip service. How's that? There's no lip service.
That is so true. So true.
Right. Let's see.
70% of this country is in favor of the Roe versus Wade, the abortion, and being able to have good legal abortions and also medical care. And you don't need to have these people who stand out in front of these places, trying to dissuade people from going in, and killing all these people who perform abortions. It's just terrible.
Well,
terrible.
You go back to that percentage of crazies, the white evangelicals. And then it also brings us back to what we call the electoral college. 14% of these people want to tell the rest of the country what to do. And then we get to the electoral college where, every single Republican president that has been elected has only won by the electoral college, not by the popular vote, like every other country in the world.
Yeah.
And so our presidency rides on places like Ohio, small states with hardly, with anybody in it. That should not be the way things are. And so, but Norval Norquist, I think is his name. He was, I wish I had thought earlier, I would have put the video up, but he was this ultra conservative, and they started like 20 years ago. And there's a whole speech of his online. I'll send it to you. But he talks about how they're going to overturn Roe versus Wade, how the Republicans are going to take over. And they said, we're going to start with the local governments, then the state governments. And then it doesn't matter who is president, we'll be able to run the country.
That is why we have to be so careful who we vote for in our future, because that's what's going to hinge. Everything is going to hinge on our local voting, on our local elected officials, like the Secretary of State, like any state legislature. You have to really concern yourself to find out about these people and to see who they are and how they feel and what they believe in.
And there's also this other angle, with how these people are put in and into office and voted, is the fact that voter apathy. There are people don't vote. Young people don't vote, except when it's 2018. Women got fired up. They were over Trump, and in the 2018 midterms, what happened? The House and the Senate went to the Democrats. Then the whole BS started again when Biden got in because he's senile, he doesn't know what he's doing. The Biden has done so many incredible things, and
that's right.
The main sleaze media never does it. We don't have news anymore like it used to be when you and I were growing up. The news today is all about clickbaiting and how many hits you can get because it's for profit. It's all for profit. And the more ratings you get and the more hits you get, that's what drives the news these days. It's not what, it's like, what makes them pick some little girl in the middle of buttfuck nowhere who's white and she gets all the glory? What happened to this girl? Where are the kidnappers? And you very seldom ever see a child of color get as much. The only time you see the child of color is when a policeman shoots them in the back or arrests them. Yeah. That's when you do that. But it's that white privilege. And I'm telling you, there are times I'm embarrassed to be a white person.
I know. It's tough on everybody who has feelings, who understands the world. I don't think we're the only people. You and I are not the only people who feel this way.
Well,
and but Democrats and independents who are liberals, everybody's going about their business. They're trying to keep their lives afloat in this day-to-day existence that we find ourselves in. But it takes so little time to vote. Just a little bit of time. Fill it out, send it in. Let it be counted. Because if we don't stick together this time, I know every time we always say this is the most important election of your lifetime. Well, this one coming up really is.
Right.
This one really is.
Well, I said we're 1 to 2 elections away from becoming Gilead. And The Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Gilead,
I know you are.
Gilead.
Oh, John, don't let the door hit you on the way out. Communist trash.
Oh, communist trash. Yay.
Yay. You know what I'm going to... Hey, guess what? You're blocked, whatever trash you are, and I'm deleting your comment. So I have this piece of communist trash can delete you and block you.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, that's too funny. No, I remember a time when, white guilt is real. It's true. But I remember a time when Democrats and Republicans worked together.
Oh, I actually do too. I mean, I've lived long enough. I remember Ike Eisenhower being a president. That's when I came to be aware of a president.
Right.
Eisenhower.
I used to tell people I was back in the day. I was a Republican in my business life and a Democrat in my social life. But see, when people go, what? And I said, well, that all changed. It all changed in 1998-99 with Jerry Falwell and Pat Robertson and the Bible thumping idiots. When they took control and came up with the Contract for America, they wanted to clean it up. Meanwhile, they're all freaking out because Clinton was getting a blowjob in that little alleyway in the Oval Office. Meanwhile, what's his name? Oh God, who's the little fat fuck with the silver hair?
Oh,
Gingrich.
Lindsey?
No. Well, no, we'll get to him.
Oh.
Gingrich. Newt Gingrich his wife was on the deathbed. He was screwing this woman and divorced the woman he was screwing back then. I mean, it was, oh my God. It was such hypocrites. And, but
they don't even care that we call them hypocrites. No. I would be very upset if people call me a hypocrite. It would bother me. But these people have no clue. They don't give a shit what people call them.
No, and back to elections matter is that we need to, all other civilized countries have election day where people don't go to work. They go and what do? They vote.
Yeah.
Not in this country. We're so screwed up with voting, with midterms and the regular, and then all these, and then the state stuff, which this is the whole thing. The state stuff that happens like in June, or they have these different elections.
Well, we have our primary in California coming up on June 7th.
Right.
And so we get to go to the polls, and I vote in the primaries. I vote everything. But I also spend some time, like if I have to vote on judges, that is the biggest pain in my butt. But I go through it. I check 2 or 3 different websites, conservative league, what is it? Some woman's organization.
Right. The Auxiliary Ladies Society or something.
And but I also check with there is a group that says about a judge if they're
whether they're decent.
Yeah. they have an opinion about all the judges, whether
Right, right.
you know. And so I go through that, and I go through. I call a friend who is very connected,
Right.
in the arena of
Right.
Houston, LA, and we find out, but you have to spend time. You have to spend the time to go and find out about people's backgrounds and how other people think about them. And
Right. And people don't understand that elections matter. And the other thing is with younger people, there's like two generations that when Republicans started cutting education back in Reagan, that all started with Reagan. They started cutting education and funding for education. And guess what? There's kids that are graduating from high school that don't even know how to read.
Yeah.
They don't teach government. Then there's that whole cancel culture where they don't want to, the white people don't want their white children to know how shitty their white grandparents were. So let's not talk about history. I mean, it's crazy. And they're not teaching history. They don't teach government in school. Kids don't understand how it feels.
I learned so much.
Right.
When I was going to school, we had home and something. I had a 5th period of home, and it's like home economics.
Right.
You learn to cook, you learn to sew. Then I had my typing class. Then I had my government class. You found out what things mattered, that you had to go out into the world and be a citizen of the world, of the United States, anyway.
What the hell
And
is
they
that?
don't have it anymore. My grandchildren have to go to private school in order to get the kind of education that their mother and their aunt
got for free.
Got for free. Yeah.
Right. Well, it's like okay. So I got all upset the other day because I was in the gym in my building, and a young kid, he's 20, and he says, "Why you look upset?" I said, "I'm just upset over what's happening with Roe versus Wade." "Oh, what's that about?" And then I said, "Well, it's about abortion." "Oh yeah, I've heard about that." And I just went, "Oh my God." I said, if they pass this, they could get rid of gay rights. Really? And it's like, I just wanted to scream going, if these little young queens were more concerned about what's happening in the government and the laws than they are about who's going to lip sync better on RuPaul's Drag Race.
Exactly.
They need to do that,
Yeah. And I don't know how we can make any kind of a difference. I wish I did know. I wish I knew.
Well, the difference happens once they realize some of the rights are taken away. And that's another thing.
Then it's too late.
Never in the history of the United States, and this happened during the gay marriage debate, never in the history have rights been taken away from the people. And if they do this, if they vote to overturn Roe versus Wade, it'll be the first time in the history of our country that rights were actually taken away from someone and women. Yeah. It's never happened before. Never happened before.
The fact that we only got to vote in 1920 was the final thing. 1920.
What is that? What was it called? Suffragette. I got the first 3 letters.
But England is no better because for so many centuries women couldn't own property.
Right.
They couldn't vote. They had to. Well, I just go back to watching Downton Abbey. They couldn't even because Mr. What's his butt? What's his name? On Downton Abbey, the Crawleys. The girls didn't have a chance. They had to marry somebody, you know. So,
right.
Anyway.
Oh, it was all about that. I feel one person can make a difference. They can.
Look what happened. But I mean, how do we do it? How do we physically make a difference? I talk to people. I'm out and about. I ask people, "Did you vote? Are you going to vote? Have you made a plan?" No, I don't vote. I don't vote. Well, what do you say? What do you say?
You got to canvassing. I did that with my friend Bino Solomon here in Vegas a couple years ago. We went out and canvassed these neighborhoods, knocking on doors. I'd never done that before, but it was so much fun.
Well, I write postcards and I do telephoning.
Oh God!
From my home, I do that, both of those things, and So, and which they provide you with everything. You
Right.
just, it's so easy to do that. So
Right.
and it doesn't even matter. It matters where, wherever they need you, and they will give you a list and connect you on your, anyway, you don't have to pay for anything, and it
Right.
just it comes all to you.
Unify. That's right, Gwen. It happened in 2018. I brought that up earlier about how
Right.
the women were pissed. And I honestly feel that whoever leaked it, God bless them.
Me too.
And it could go both ways. Here's the thing about the leak. It could either upset us, those who are pro-abortion folks, but at the same time, it could have been put out to fire up the base for the crazies,
And I don't expect anybody to go get an abortion because I say you should go get an abortion. Nobody's saying that. Everybody, abortion has got to be such a personal thing.
Mhm.
You have to figure out what you want to do. I was going to get an abortion when I was pregnant with my twins. Now,
Right.
that's 47 years ago, 46
Right.
years ago.
Right.
And my husband and I never wanted to have children. We'd already been married 9 years without children. I was an actor. And I went to New York, then I came out to California, and I was just starting my career,
Right.
coming out here,
Mhm.
out in California. I come up pregnant because I was changing birth control. I had been
Right.
on birth control, so I was giving my body using spermicidal foam. Well, hello. So I get pregnant, and I think, well, I don't care. I mean, I'm going to get an abortion,
Right.
This is 1974.
Right.
We'd already, Roe versus
73.
Wade had been 1973.
Right.
So I go, well, the doc says, you're pregnant. I go home. He said, well, talk it over with your husband.
Right.
I said, okay. So I go home. I talk it over with my husband. He all of a sudden turns very religious on me and says, honey, it's really God's will. And I really don't think and that at that time, there was only one in there that I thought.
Right.
Then I go, and so he convinces me not to get an abortion. Fine. My children know this story, however.
Right.
But so anyway, then they're telling me after about 12 weeks, I'm having 3 babies at one time. Well, I was a mess, to say the very least. I was a mess. So then about, I don't know, 3 or 4 months into it, they said I was only having 2, which I was very pleased about.
That's too funny.
But I'll tell you, the millisecond that those little twits were born, I became a mom, a real live action mom.
Right.
Everything I did was for them. I nursed them for 8 months, under one each, especially in the middle of the night.
It was like a National Geographic pictorial. I remember
yeah. Anyway, but it was available to me.
Right.
I guess that's my point.
Right.
And the fact that he also said, "I'll help you." Blah 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 blah. We'll be doing this together. And he was such a great dad, and still is. So I was blessed. I was really blessed that he was so adamant about it, and I was sort of a fence sitter about it. I could go either way.
Right.
And the fact that he was so gung ho, and you need that support if you're going to have, especially if you're going to have multiple births. So,
but then again, yours is an incredible story. But these abortion bans that they're bringing up now, or that they are signed up, is a little 12-year-old, 13-year-old girl gets raped by her father or an uncle or whatever.
Right.
She has to have the child.
Yeah.
Because it's against the law. Or if that, and here's the thing, in some of these states, if a child, for instance, is raped and has a child, and you are the person that takes that child to go get an abortion, even in another state, you can go to jail. That's not America.
In Texas, they want you to tell on your neighbors.
Right.
If you suspect anybody, you get $10,000 if you are a whistler, you know.
Right. God, Beto O'Rourke needs to get there. But he has a problem because he has to deal with a total House and Senate there that's Republicans, you know.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm finding out, like, for instance, here in Nevada, we turned blue in the last 2 elections. You know, Sisolak came in and, you know, he took over for the guy that was a Republican before, who was actually a good Republican, but he didn't want to do it anymore. But, you know, they're going after him. This guy, Joe Lombardi, who was the sheriff of Nevada. You know, you see these commercials, you know, Sisolak is responsible for the gasoline, the immigrants, da, 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 da. And I want to go, hey, motherfucker, you were the guy in charge when 51 people were killed at the fairground. You know, obviously you weren't doing your job. You know, I'm waiting for that ad to come out. It's terrible, but at the same time, it's just nasty. Then there's this other guy running for governor who has his wife who looks like a Stepford Barbie doll reject. You know, she's got the perfect plastic hair, and they just sit there. We are Trump. We believe in Trump. Trump, when he ran the country, this is what happened. But, you know, back to elections matter. And if we don't, I have a funny feeling that we may be able to win the midterms.
I do too.
But we also have.
I'm very hopeful.
Yeah, we also have a guy who's the head of the DNC that is basically quiet. Have you ever noticed that? When's the last time you heard the head of the DNC?
I agree. I totally agree. Jamie
Harris or something. I think it was. He ran against. They gave him the job because he ran against Miss Lindsay.
Yeah.
Lindsey Graham, that two-faced, speaking out of both sides of his face, little turd. But the guy who beat his wife and ran for office. Right now. There's the one guy that didn't get it. I forget which state it was last night. And he was the one that was talking about his little girl getting raped or something. That was okay. And he didn't get it. Yeah, it was one of the guys was talking. He didn't get elected. He didn't get on the ballot, you know, in the primary. I'll have to find it. But yeah, he was like, it was okay. I love that nickname, Miss Lindsay. Yes.
You know she is just in the closet so far back in there.
And then pretends he's not. You know. No,
bless his heart.
Bless his heart, as Leslie would say. Bless his heart.
Bless his heart.
Yeah, look it up. I was reading about. They were talking about it last night, and I can't remember the name of the contested. The guy that was running, but you know. Yes, at the end of the day, we have to mobilize. We have to mobilize like 2018.
Yeah.
Because the ignorant and the clueless who are like these crazy sheep believe everything Trump says. They believe.
How can they do that? I know my sister and my brothers are Trumpers in Texas.
Right. Is it racism or bigotry on their side?
I think it's just comes from being in Texas. You know, everybody's expected to be bigots. You know,
guilt by association.
Yeah, they pretty much are. But I know my sister just went to work. Cam Stubbs says I'm surrounded by them.
You know.
Yeah, my sister went to work for the state, doing some kind of voting. She's working in what do you call it, where they go and they vote?
The polls.
The polls. She's doing something about voting.
Right.
And we're hoping, my daughter and I are hoping that this means that she's wanting to find out more about information, but she's been, we didn't speak for 4 years while he was president.
Right.
I could not believe that my own sister would be that sort of dim to believe somebody who's such a crook. I mean, he's just been proven to be such a fucking crook.
He struck a chord with these people. He struck a chord with these redneck people and
angry. Those guys especially are angry. Yeah.
Well, they're afraid that brown-skinned people are going to take over the country, and they don't like it. You know,
QAnon.
Yes. Oh, I know. Someone who wrote QAnon. Yes, you know about QAnon. Of course we did. It's a total psych up for Trump, and they're legitimately hypnotizing people with it all. Oh yeah,
I know.
definitely.
Yeah.
The QAnon is beyond insanity, and it's just like, yeah, I'm sure QAnon is probably started the whole rumor about Katanja
Oh
Jackson.
yeah. Yeah.
Everybody said, well, that was the other topic that people were talking about this morning. They were saying that the Republicans should be rejoicing that this is out. The Republicans should be all excited that they know they're going to overturn Roe versus Wade. They should,
Really?
and yeah, they were saying, why aren't McConnell and them happy? It looks like they're going to overturn Roe versus Wade, but no, what they're doing is they're more interested in finding out who did the leak. They don't talk about it.
So they can get the onus off of them for making this happen.
Right. Of course.
And I don't understand why there's not some recourse when people who are going to sit on the Supreme Court lie, just completely lie.
It goes back to what's his name, Clarence Thomas.
Yeah.
His wife was part of the insurrection.
And she's a QAnon thing.
And she's a QAnon.
She's QAnon too.
Trump lost me when he endorsed the vax. No, sorry, Crackshot. The vax was great. For one, am a person who almost died, and everybody that knows me knows I almost died, and I almost died before there was a vax. And the vaccines work. Everybody's entitled to.
They do. And you know what? I think that if you do, I came down with it. I mean, I tested positive for it last year.
Right.
And I almost didn't get to go on my trip to Hawaii. And I'm really looking forward to that. I don't get out much.
Right.
But it happened a couple of weeks before and I tested positive. I couldn't believe. And I got just a head cold. It felt like it was a head cold. But nothing, no temperature, no nothing, because I had been vaccinated. And then I got my booster, and thank God. Thank you, God, for making it happen for us to have a vaccine.
Right. Well,
that's why we don't have measles. That's why we don't have smallpox anymore that kills swaths of people like the plague is doing.
Don't get me started. Oh, my leg was cramped underneath my ass here, sitting in the chair. So I had to take it off. I was like, oh, excuse me, as I moved my leg. Angela, this has been a fantastic live. We've almost been an hour.
Thank you, Angela. Thank you.
We're going to be in for a few more minutes. But I was just so happy that you decided to come on, and we could talk for hours and hours.
I know.
I would love to get you and some other people, on and do like a couple of us talking.
Now, before we go, I do want to suggest, if anybody is looking, besides Planned Parenthood, if they want to give a little money, $1 or $2, if they can. If they can't, fine.
Right.
But there are 3 other things that I've just been reading about, which I did not know about these feminist things. It's called the Feminist Women's Health Center. They're operating in Atlanta.
Oh, really?
And providing care for over 45 years. And it's an independent clinic on the front lines of the battle to protect abortion access. Now, that's called the Feminist Women's Health Center in Atlanta. Also, the Sister Song Women of Color Reproductive Justice Collective. It's a big title. I'm sure there's an acronym or something for that. But the Sister Song Women of Color Reproductive Justice Collective. It's a very diverse collective of women of color dedicated to growing and supporting the reproductive justice movement and to uplifting the voices and building the capacity to win access to abortion and all other reproductive rights. And there's another one called ARC Southeast. Is a fund that helps those in need overcome barriers they have to try to keep them from the resources to access reproductive health care, including abortion access. It's in 6 states across the Southeast. I guess that's Arizona, New Mexico, the Southeast. Southeast is the other side.
What you can do, Anne, is copy paste it, and send it to me in an email, and I will put it into the YouTube description of this show and everything else, so people can get that.
Because I gave to yesterday because Newsom said, send some money to Planned Parenthood because we in California are going to, really keep everything open for people. But then I see this and I think, gosh, this is a very important thing. I will do that, Michael. I will do that.
And I'll put it up.
Are we really only have 5 minutes more?
We have just about 5 minutes more.
Oh, good. Okay.
But I just want to tell Quackshot, my body, my voice, my choice, no vax. That's right.
No vax.
You know what? That's okay. And it's the same thing. If you want to do it, that's great. I still think you're playing Russian roulette with your lungs.
Yeah.
Because it's
people get, if you don't have any protection against it, you get it. And then there are so many after effects that will linger. And will linger for many, many years, months, years.
Right.
So anyway,
I'm thinking that we always stay in touch, but I'm thinking that when the actual verdict, I guess is what you call it, goes down, you'll have to come on and we'll talk. I mean, you never know. There might be one of or two of them might change their minds. Maybe Clarence Thomas will crap out and have a heart attack. Same as Alito. Maybe they'll all go hunting and shoot each other. I keep dreaming that. Yeah.
Who was RGB's favorite person who was a Republican on the court? Was it Alito or was it the one that died?
The one that died. The Italian.
Yeah.
Scalia.
Yeah.
Right.
Because my daughter was saying last night, she said it was Alito. And I said, no, it was a guy. They went to operas together. Okay.
Right. They did that. And then Scalia and I think it was, not Sotomayor. Who's the other one? The other female? I can see her. Anyway, they would go hunting together. They went hunting. Of course, it's not safe to go hunting with Scalia because that was Dick Cheney who shot
Dick Cheney.
Yeah. But
my God, I'm applauding Miss Cheney being on the committee.
She is. They're going to start the public hearings in June.
June the 8th, I believe.
3 nights. 3 nights
or
4
all?
nights. Well, they need to get the word out there. So hopefully. This is another whole show for you and I, but that is, I truly believe that Merrick Garland is dotting the I's, crossing the T's, and I just have this feeling we're going to wake up one morning and there are going to be indictments. There's going to be arrests.
Fingers are crossed.
Because look what's happening in New York. You know what I mean? Look what's happening in New York. I want to know what he has on that Democrat that took over for Vance in New York that says, well, we're not going to prosecute. And the two guys that quit said, yes, you can. There's enough evidence to prosecute him. And this guy isn't. What pictures does he have? But Letitia isn't giving up. Letitia isn't getting, and the grand jury already started in Atlanta on him.
That's right.
But Merrick Garland,
another lady that's not giving up either.
Right.
And I can't, Fanny or something. Her name is Fanny something.
But Merrick Garland, he has to realize what they did to him. McConnell. But at the same time, these people they have millions and millions and millions of dollars to prolong cases. But what people don't understand is the January 6th committee cannot, it's not a court.
Yeah.
Per se.
They can only recommend.
The Department of Justice, when you get arrested, ask John Mitchell and all the people involved with Nixon what happened on that.
Don't
Saturday
we love
Gaslit?
Oh, I love that Gaslit. The thing about the thing about
right. The whole thing that happened. John Mitchell.
Yeah.
Mitchell. So I have a funny feeling that we are going to wake up one morning and all shit's going to hit the fan. And it could change everything. It won't change the Trumpers because they're like rabid foxes, in which there's going to be a lot of unrest. But I believe we're going to win. I do. I believe
I
this
think
country.
we are too. I'm very optimistic.
I am too. We have to go through all of my psychic friends have all said to me and they're what they feel is going to happen, which is we're going to go through a lot of hell, but America always gets through. I mean, the Civil Rights Act, the 1969 with what
That
happened,
took forever.
you know, but at the same time, you know, there are more of us good people than there are of these crazies.
It's true.
My
Very
love, you are the best. Do you promise me we're not going to take so long to bring you on the next time?
Yes,
If I give you enough time to do your hair and put our faces on, you'll come on. I mean, I love it. I hopefully will get my I see you, Gwen. I'll see you at 4:30. Gwen, today's Gwen's birthday. Happy birthday, Gwen.
Happy birthday, Gwen.
And we're going to Benihana's for her birthday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, then we're going to go see a show and stuff like that. It's her birthday, so we're going to go do that today. But everybody, give it up for this beautiful, wonderful woman, Ann Walker.
Thank you for having me.
I will see you all Sunday. I'm sure I will have a psychic medium pop in on Sunday. It'll be kind of fun. But Ann Walker, you are a doll, a sweetheart, and I thank you. And you're coming back on very soon. You promise?
Certainly. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. I don't have the music because my sound's fucked up.